Deep Dive. We're here to cut through the noise, get you well informed, fast.
That's the plan.
And today, we're plunging into something really fascinating. It's our source material, Curious Americana, 10 Peculiar U.S. Facts.
Right.
Now, you might think you know the United States, but I promise you, we're about to uncover some things that are, well, genuinely surprising.
Yeah, the idea here is to find those hidden gems, those nuggets of knowledge, and connect some dots, give you those aha moments.
Exactly. These aren't just trivia points, are they?
No, not at all. Think of them more like windows into the complex identity of this nation.
Okay, so what kind of windows are we talking about? Give us a taste.
Well, for starters, you might be surprised to learn that the U.S. doesn't actually have an official national language at the federal level.
Really? Even though English is everywhere?
Yep. English is dominant, of course, but it's not officially official nationwide. It's quite interesting.
Okay, what else?
Then there's this town in Nebraska, Monowi. It has just one resident.
One single person.
One person. And she's the mayor, the librarian, and the bartender.
Wow. Okay. That's definitely peculiar. We'll get into that. What about geography?
Oh, geography's got some good ones. Did you know Alaska alone has more coastline than all the other U.S. states combined?
No way. More than all of them put together.
It's staggering. And then on the complete opposite end of the scale, there's the Roe River in Montana, just 201 feet long, officially the shortest river in the world.
From the longest coastline to the shortest river.
Okay.
And history. Any historical twists?
Absolutely. Like the Statue of Liberty, we all know it, right?
Right.
Iconic symbol of the U.S.
Of course.
Well, it was originally planned for Egypt.
Egypt, not New York.
Nope. It was a different project entirely before France gifted it to the U.S. back in 1886. And another great one. The current 50-star American flag,
Yeah.
designed by a 17-year-old kid for a school project.
You're kidding.
Nope. And apparently he only got a B- for it initially.
That's unbelievable. A B- for the national flag.
Okay, what else is on the list? We'll touch on the sheer scale of the Library of Congress. It's the world's largest, over 170 million items.
Mind-boggling.
And then some quirky cultural things, like Kentucky having more barrels of bourbon aging than actual people living there.
More bourbon than people.
Okay,
That sounds about right for Kentucky.
doesn't it? And we can't forget the White House pets. Some presidents had some unusual companions, alligators, a raccoon, even a cow.
A cow in the White House.
Yep. Provided milk for the first family, apparently.
Amazing. Okay, one more.
And finally, we'll touch on something a bit more serious, the realities of certain jobs, like fishing in Alaska. It's considered one of the deadliest jobs in the world.
Right. That puts things in perspective.
Exactly. So the idea is when you bring all these different facts together, these peculiar details, you start to get a really fresh perspective on the U.S.
You start to ask what's really fascinating here, and maybe why does it matter for how we understand the country?
That's the core of it,
Yeah.
finding those connections.
Okay, let's dive in. Let's kick things off with that language point you mentioned. The idea that the U.S. doesn't have an official national language, that feels wrong somehow, doesn't it?
It does feel counterintuitive, yeah. Because English is so dominant culturally, commercially, in government, but legally at the federal level, there's no law saying English is the official language.
So it wasn't just an oversight. They didn't just forget.
No, it seems quite deliberate, historically speaking. There have been numerous attempts over the years, decades even, to pass laws making English official.
And they just haven't succeeded.
Consistently failed to pass Congress. So it's an ongoing debate, but the status quo is no official federal language.
So what does that mean in practice? What are the sort of broader implications of the country not having an official language? It must shape things.
Oh, absolutely. It allows for, well, a more flexible linguistic landscape, you could say. Think about government services.
Right, like forms or information?
Exactly. While lots of things are primarily in English, there's often a significant effort to provide translations, especially in areas with large immigrant communities. Voting ballots, health information, safety notices.
Ah, so it makes vital information more accessible to people who might not be fluent in English yet.
Precisely. It kind of reinforces that historical idea of the U.S. as a melting pot. It's quite different from many countries that have very specific, constitutionally mandated official languages.
Which can sometimes lead to stricter policies about language use, I imagine.
It can, yes. Policies sometimes aimed more squarely at linguistic assimilation.
Okay, that makes sense. But I can also see the other side of the coin. Does the lack of an official language ever cause problems? Could someone argue it creates practical hurdles or maybe even makes it harder to unify the country.
That's definitely the core argument from proponents of making English official. They often talk about national unity, streamlining government. Imagine the cost savings on translation, they'd say.
And encouraging immigrants to learn English faster, maybe.
That's often part of the argument, too, yes, facilitating integration. But opponents push back hard. They'd say English is already dominant naturally. Making it legally official could feel discriminatory or disrespectful to the linguistic heritage of many communities, including indigenous languages.
So it really highlights this fundamental tension, doesn't it?
Mm.
Between wanting unity and celebrating multiculturalism.
Exactly. It's a debate that gets right to the heart of American identity.
Fascinating. Okay, let's zoom right in now. From the big picture of language policy to something incredibly specific. Manoa, Nebraska.
Manoa.
A town with one resident, just one.
Yeah.
And she's the mayor, librarian, and bartender.
It's her, Elsie Eiler. Her story is it's such a unique snapshot of rural America and persistence.
So how does that even work? Is it still legally a town?
It is. That's the key thing. It's still an incorporated municipality. And Elsie, well, she performs all the necessary functions.
By herself.
Pretty much. She holds town meetings, presumably with herself. She collects taxes from her own business to pay the town, which is, well, herself. And importantly, she grants her own liquor license for the Manoa Tavern.
Which she also runs.
Which she owns and operates, yes.
So it's not just someone living alone in an abandoned place. It's a functioning, legal town of one.
Yeah.
What are the paradoxes there? How does she maintain it all?
Well, the fact it stays incorporated is kind of amazing. It shows how resilient these legal structures can be, even when the population drops to the absolute minimum. Elsie keeps the records. She applies for state funds for road maintenance.
Which she then does herself.
You guessed it. And she runs the town library. Her late husband started it. It's got thousands of books.
Wow. So, sociologically speaking, what does that tell us?
It tells us a lot about connection to place, I think, about purpose. Even when the roles are largely symbolic, her dedication keeps the idea of Manoa alive. It really makes you question what a town or a community even is, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. The spirit enduring through one person's willpower. Amazing.
It's a living piece of history, in a way, tied completely to that place.
Okay, so from the tiniest town, let's swing to the absolute geographical extreme. Alaska.
The Great Land.
The fact that it has more coastline than all other U.S. states combined, just try to wrap your head around that.
It's truly staggering. The official number is something like over 33,900 miles of coastline.
And the rest of the continental U.S.?
About 12,400 miles. So Alaska has almost 3 times more.
How is that even possible?
It's down to that incredibly complex shape. Thousands of islands, think of the Aleutian chain stretching away out, and then countless inlets, bays, deep fjords carving into the mainland. It all adds up, dramatically increasing the perimeter.
So it's not just a line on a map, it's incredibly jagged and intricate.
Exactly.
And that's not just a trivia fact, is it? That coastline must define so much about Alaska.
Oh, fundamentally. Ecologically, it supports these incredibly rich marine ecosystems. You've got massive salmon runs, halibut, king crab. It's a haven for marine mammals, seabirds.
Which links to the economy, right? Fishing.
Huge. Alaska's fishing industry is a global powerhouse, directly because of that coastline and those ecosystems. Plus, tourism, shipping, and strategically.
That's location.
Yeah, its proximity to Asia, the Arctic Ocean. It's vital for defense, for international trade, especially now with Arctic routes opening up more. Geography is destiny in many ways for Alaska.
Wow. Okay. And then, from the vastness of Alaska's coast, we pivot to the Roe River in Montana.
The other extreme.
201 feet long.
Yeah.
Declared the shortest river in the world. It's such a contrast.
It really is. It flows between Giant Springs and the Missouri River near Great Falls. And yeah, Guinness World Records recognizes it.
But 201 feet, is it really a river?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? It makes you think about how we define things, how arbitrary our categories can sometimes be. Is it a river just because we call it one?
It's kind of charming, though. This tiny little stream holding a world record tucked away in big sky country.
It's a great reminder of the world's diversity, right? Even the smallest things can be record holders and spark a bit of debate.
Definitely. Okay, let's shift from geography to history. And this one really stopped me in my tracks. The Statue of Liberty.
Ah, yes. Lady Liberty.
Originally meant for Egypt. How did that happen?
It's a fascinating detour in its history. The sculptor, Frederick Auguste Bartholdi, he had this earlier vision, around 1869 for the opening of the Suez Canal.
So, same sculptor, different project.
Right. He designed this huge statue called Egypt Carrying the Light to Asia, a robed woman holding a torch meant to be a lighthouse at the canal entrance.
But it never happened.
Negotiations with the Egyptian government fell through, mostly over cost, it seems. So the idea was shelved.
And then France decided to gift a statue to the U.S.
Exactly. A few years later, around 1865, the idea came up to commemorate the alliance during the American Revolution. Bartholdi basically dusted off and adapted his earlier design.
Wow. So the statue itself had a previous life,
Yeah.
conceptually.
And think about how its meaning changed. In Egypt, it was about connecting East and West via the canal. In New York Harbor, standing there as immigrants arrived, it became this incredibly powerful symbol of liberty, welcome, American ideals.
The context totally transformed its meaning. That's incredible.
It really shows how symbols aren't fixed, right? They gain meaning from where they are and what people project onto them.
Absolutely. Okay, sticking with iconic American symbols. The flag.
The 50-star flag, yes.
Designed by a 17-year-old for a school project.
Yeah.
And he got a B. That sounds like an urban legend.
It sounds like one, but it's true. Robert Heft, back in 1958, he was a high school junior in Ohio.
And he just designed the flag.
Well, Alaska was about to become a state, and Hawaii was clearly on the way. So for a history project, he designed a 50-star version. He actually cut up an older flag his parents had and rearranged the stars.
Resourceful. So why the B-?
His teacher, Stanley Pratt, apparently thought it wasn't very original, just a logical arrangement. But Heft, he was convinced it was the design.
He didn't just accept the grade.
No. He challenged it. He told his teacher he thought it would become the national flag. He sent it off to his congressman.
Yeah.
It got noticed. It ended up being chosen by President Eisenhower out of like 1,500 submissions.
No way. So did the teacher change the grade?
The story goes that the teacher had jokingly said, if it's accepted by Congress, I'll change the grade. And apparently he kept his word and changed it to an A.
That is fantastic. What a story. It's sort of inspiringly ordinary in a way.
It is. Youthful confidence, a bit of civic engagement, maybe a teacher being proven wrong.
Yeah.
It all came together.
Amazing. Okay, from symbols everyone sees, let's talk about a place that holds symbols of knowledge.
Yeah.
The Library of Congress.
The world's largest library.
Over 170 million items.
Wow.
I can't even comprehend that number. What does that represent?
It represents this immense, profound commitment to collecting, preserving, and making accessible human knowledge and creativity. Books, yes, but also manuscripts, maps, photos, films, music, digital files, everything.
It's not just for Congress, though, right?
No, while it is the primary research arm for Congress, its mission is much broader. It aims to capture human thought and creativity from around the globe. It's this incredible resource for understanding history, culture, science, pretty much everything.
Just the scale of it speaks volumes about maybe the value placed on knowledge.
I think so. It's a cornerstone institution for scholarship and, in a way, for democratic society having that access to information.
Right. Okay, let's pivot again to something completely different but uniquely American in its own way. Kentucky bourbon.
Ah, yes.
More barrels of bourbon aging than people living in the state. That's quite a statistic.
It really is, and it tells you everything about how central bourbon is to Kentucky's identity, its history, its economy.
So we're talking millions of barrels.
Millions, sitting there in rick houses, maturing. The estimates always put the barrel count well above the human population. It's more than just a drink there, it's heritage.
What makes Kentucky so perfect for it?
It's a combination of things. The climate is ideal for aging. The water, famously filtered through limestone, is perfect for distilling. And then there's just generations of expertise, that deep history.
So it drives tourism too, I bet, the Bourbon Trail and all that.
Absolutely. It's a major draw. The whole industry is built on this specific process, this sense of place and tradition. That statistic really captures it perfectly.
A liquid heritage indeed.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of quirky aspects of American identity, White House pets.
Always a fun topic.
Alligators, raccoons, a cow. It sounds like a children's story.
It does, but it offers this wonderful, humanizing glimpse into the lives of presidents. These weren't always just standard dogs and cats.
So who had the alligator?
Well, John Quincy Adams reportedly kept one in a White House bathtub for a while, though some accounts differ. Andrew Jackson had fighting roosters. Teddy Roosevelt had a whole menagerie badger, snakes, a one-legged rooster.
A one-legged rooster, and Calvin Coolidge had the raccoon.
Yes, Rebecca the raccoon was apparently a beloved pet. She even attended state dinners sometimes.
And the cow. Who needed a personal White House cow?
That was President William Howard Taft. Her name was Pauline Wayne, and she provided fresh milk and butter for the first family, grazed right there on the White House lawn.
What does this all tell us? Beyond just being amusing.
Well, these pets often became celebrities in their own right. They softened the image of the presidents, made them seem more relatable, maybe a bit eccentric. It adds this touch of the unexpected to the otherwise very formal setting of the White House.
A human touch, definitely.
Okay.
From the whimsical to the stark reality. Let's end with Alaskan fishing.
Yes, a sobering contrast.
Considered one of the deadliest jobs in the world. That brings us back to that massive coastline, but in a very different light.
It does. It highlights the immense risks and sacrifices involved in some industries that are vital to the economy and, well, putting food on our tables.
What makes it so dangerous? Is it just the rough seas?
That's a huge part of it. The Bering Sea, especially, is notorious for its brutal weather. Huge waves, freezing temperatures, ice. Then you add long hours, fatigue, working with heavy, dangerous equipment on unstable decks.
And the isolation must be intense, too.
Absolutely, both physical and psychological strain. It's incredibly hazardous work. It really underscores the human cost behind resource extraction, the sheer courage it takes.
It certainly puts the peculiar facts in perspective, showing the vast range of experiences within the U.S.
Exactly, from a single resident town to a global fishing fleet facing mortal danger.
Well, what a journey that was, digging into Curious Americana. We've really bounced around, haven't we?
We certainly have.
From things you'd think were settled, like language, to a town held together by one person. From Alaska's immense coast to Montana's tiny river.
And the surprising backstories of the Statue of Liberty and the flag.
Right. Plus the sheer scale of the Library of Congress, Kentucky's bourbon identity, those unforgettable White House pets, and ending with the tough realities of Alaskan fishing.
And I think what emerges when you put all these pieces together is just how much these seemingly small, odd, or extreme facts actually shape the bigger picture.
It's not just the grand narrative.
No. It's these details that create the texture, the nuance. It forces you to look beyond the simple headlines or stereotypes. A deeper understanding often comes from appreciating precisely these unique, unexpected elements.
It challenges your assumptions about what makes a country, well, a country.
Yeah.
Especially one as big and diverse as the U.S.
Which leads to maybe a final thought for you, our listeners, to chew on.
Go for it.
What does it really mean for a nation's identity, particularly one like the United States, so vast and varied to be shaped not just by its major historical events or its economic might, but by these deeply peculiar, almost whimsical details we've talked about? How do these facts, a flag designed by a student, a town with just one person, a river that's barely longer than a swimming pool, a presidential cow, how do they challenge our neat assumptions? How do they invite us, maybe, to look a little closer at the real, fascinating, and often strange fabric of a nation?